All right, and the Canadians have successfully gone through the first phase of human testing for an HIV vaccine. How is their study different from the one that you will be doing?
Right. There's a whole track of experiments that are planned, and many of them here in South Africa, to test vaccines. So vaccine development is, basically we have to have a product that is going to stimulate the right immune response, and there are different kinds of vaccines. And certainly there are many trials that are going on. There is, in fact, a vaccine that has partial effect in humans. It was a study that was done in Thailand in 2009 that only showed 31% efficacy. And that vaccine is going to be tested again here in South Africa, and then improved versions of that vaccine will be tested here in large-scale trials. So certainly there's a lot of activity, on the vaccine side. The passive infusion side is still fairly new, where we're actually going to be testing the antibodies themselves, and that's a different sort of approach. That's really testing a biological or a new medicine. But certainly there are these two tracks going on.
All right. And do you think a vaccine can eradicate the HIV epidemic?
Well, so a vaccine is, to prevent HIV infections given to HIV negative people. And we certainly know from that other vaccines against many viral diseases are given these vaccines are given in childhood and prevent a lot of childhood diseases. So we do think that a vaccine is the answer to the epidemic because it's going to prevent new infections. But of course there, as you know, in this country over 5 million people who already have HIV, many of course who are on antiretroviral therapy. But there's to really cure the epidemic, or to have an impact on the already infected population, what we need is a cure. Now that is a whole other area of research that people are trying to work on, is developing new drugs that can cure people who are already infected.
Well, how far off are we from finding a cure?
So again, there's some very encouraging results on new drugs for cure, but that's also still in the experimental phase. What we do know about the cure is that it is possible, because there was a very elaborate experiment done in Germany a couple of years ago called the Berlin patient. It was a man who had leukemia but also had HIV. And what they did is they did a full body irradiation and transfused him with cells that in fact are resistant to HIV, because there are some people who are missing key molecules that makes them resistant to HIV. So they transfused him with those cells, and he was cured of his HIV. So we do know that it is possible to functionally cure somebody. But of course, whole body irradiation and transplantation is obviously not a solution. That's not going to be practical. But it is important to know that a cure is feasible. Now we've got to find the right drugs that are going to be able to purge the body of the infected cells.